Hi there. For today's March Madness, we're going to do our leg pull. Now, it is quite wrist heavy, so it might be a bit of a shorter session today because there's only so long that you can hold a plank on your hands for. So we are going to start in 4-point kneeling, and I'd like you to bring yourself round and set yourself up with your hands directly underneath your shoulders, lots of space between your fingers, and your knees directly underneath your hips. So your feet are lengthened out behind you. You're just pressing that away. So rather than collapsing down towards the floor, you're pressing the mat away. So really nice and strong in this position. Make sure that it's touching through the very base of your spine. And then inhale and extend away. So you're tucking your tailbone underneath you and then sticking your bottom out and sending it back. So let's keep going. So tucking and sending it back. So we're just trying to both warm our spine, get our core muscles working, and find our neutral spine and pelvis. So let's go a few more times. This might feel really nice. Remember, not going into a full cat. A full cat is where you fully flex through your spine. You're literally just rocking your pelvis on top of your thighs. Let's go a few more times like this. So bring those toe muscles up as you tuck your tailbone underneath you, sending your bottom back. Good. And two more like this, tucking and send back. Final one, tuck and send back, coming back through to a neutral position. Okay, so this is where we're going to start taking more weight onto our hands. If having your hands like this is just too much, you can create fists instead, so you're balancing on your knuckles. And you can also pop a little cushion underneath your wrists to take some of the pressure as well. If this is really too much for you, you can bring your elbows down. It might be a little bit more awkward to go into the sliding, but it's just going to distribute the weight all along that forearm instead. So find the position that suits you best, because we're going to step our feet back into a plank position. I'd like to breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, you're going to slide one foot away and tuck your toes underneath you. And then keeping your hips as still as possible, slide the other leg so you're coming into a really long plank. Inhale, bring leg one back in. And leg two. Great, so let's go again. We're going to slide away and tuck. Keep your hips stable and steady as you take leg two back. Draw back in and return. So you're trying to keep your shoulders and hips completely still. So making sure the weight is going down evenly through both your hands. Keep pressing the mat away from you. And try not to collapse in. So you're not sticking your bottom up in the air really high. You're not slumping down towards the floor. You're keeping yourself really engaged like this. Great, let's go two more times. Sliding and sliding. Back in and through. Good. And slide. Keep your hips level. Slide. Back in and through. And let's just sit back over our heels and have a bit of a rest with our wrists. So roll your wrists around, try and get loads of movement through there if you can. Rolling around, getting that lovely movement. Super. Okay, so now we're going to make it slightly more challenging by adding in a single leg lift as well. So this time we're going to go from that 4-point plank to a 3-point. So strengthening the back of the leg, back of your glute as well, and the entire back line of your body, whilst using your internal muscles to support your spine and core. We start back into that 4-point kneeling position. We're going to inhale and slide one leg. Inhale, slide the other. And then when you're here, I like to see you float one leg up, heel leading up to the ceiling, keeping your hips level with each other, taking the other leg up. Lower it back down, return, return, and sit back. So you can see it's actually quite a strong position. We're going to try and keep doing that a few more rounds. Remember just to rest when you need to, just to protect your wrists. Or you can try one of those alternative positions. So let's go again. The slide and slide, float and lower. Great. Float leading with the heel, keeping that leg long. Draw back in and draw back in. Well done. Let's keep going. Sliding and sliding, float and lower. Float and lower. Feel the back of your leg and your glutes switch on. We've got two more rounds like this. Slide and slide. Float and lower. Keep on pressing the mat away from you. Shoulders and hips remain square to the mat. Let's make this next one our final one before we have a little bit more of a rest. Slide and slide. Float and lower. You can see that I'm really controlling that float rather than just kicking up. And let's sit back again. Give our wrists a rest. You can probably tell now it's really wrist heavy, which is why I didn't want to do a full 10-minute session on this one. Okay, so we're going to add in a pulse now. My hair's really getting in the way. getting so long, which is a nightmare. So we are going to go into our pulse. When we go into our pulse, we're going to be rocking back, and we're going to try and keep our body in one straight line while we're pulsing and sending our bottom up. Let me show you again. We're going to slide, and then we pulse. 1, 2, 3. Draw back and back. So this pulse is coming from your wrists and your toes. So you can think about sending your heels further backwards. So your pulse, 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 back and back. What we don't want to do is kind of pulse up in the air, or kind of like flop down towards the floor and just use your toes. You're trying to make it a really strong pulse. 3, 2, 1, and return. Let's try again, because we're going to put this together with that leg lift as well. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to slide one leg and the other. Inhale, 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 back and back. Good. And again, let's slide and slide, pulse, 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 back in and back. Good. Final one like this, and we'll have a little bit of a rest. Slide and slide, pulse, 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 back in, and second rest. So we're going to put all of this together now. So we're going to add in that leg lift and do the pulses as well. So roll your wrists around, get a little bit of a rest through those. Set yourself up once again. Find that neutral spine and pelvis before you start. So just do a few little pelvic tilts if you need to. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out to slide and slide. Float one leg up. Then we're going to pulse, pulse, pulse. Lower that leg down. Other leg goes up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Back in. Return leg 1 and leg 2. Sitting back over your heels. Let's give that another go. So you're going to keep that leg lengthened and then still combine it with that pulse. So there's lots going on. Really drawing in your toe muscles to support your spine as well. So let's go and breathing in, breathing out and slide. Floating your leg up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Draw that leg down. Super. And again, pulse, pulse, pulse. Drawing it back down. Return. Return. We're going to do one final one. Try and make this the best one yet. So as you pulse, think about somebody pulling your heel behind you. So pulling, pulling, pulling. So you've got that lovely length through your spine. Let's give it a go. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out to slide and slide. Float that leg. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Bring that leg down. Wonderful. Keeping really strong through your shoulders. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Bring that leg down. Return your legs one at a time. Sit back and rest here. Well done. Okay, we're going to sit however suits you best. Roll your wrists out. And let's go into our 2 final breaths. So take your arms out to the side, breathing in. As we do that, we're going to float our arms all the way up, reaching to your fingers. Lovely long stretch here. Press the air away. And go one more time, reaching all the way up. Lovely stretch to your fingers. Press the air away. And give yourself a nice clap. Well done. Please let me know how you get on. I always love to hear from you. And I'm going to be back tomorrow for some more Pilates. So see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.